Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sally Bent, and I'm the London Art Fair Director. We are so proud to be working with XPENG this year as our automotive partner. It's been an amazing partnership for us this year, and hopefully you've all seen the cars as you come into the show, and they also have a stand opposite Jack's Cafe. So please do take a moment to go and see that after the talk as well. We're delighted to have with us here today from the design team, Rafik, Sisi and Oriol from the XPENG design team, who are going to give you this wonderful talk. So thank you for your time and do have a wonderful afternoon at the fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to our very small design talk. I'm thrilled to be here today with our two brilliant minds from XPENG Design. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Because we are here in London Art Fair, this incredible atmosphere. And then what is the very fitting basic question for you guys? What is going through right now, right here in your mind, presenting the XPENG Design to the audience in here?
Well, I think, talking about car design, being in an art fair, what can go wrong? Nothing, right? So, and I think,
Absolutely.
car design and art has a lot of in common.
Yeah.
So don't you think, Rafik?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, first of all, I'd like to share the deep connection I have with this opportunity that our ideas team, our team have given to us today to be able to talk about design of XPENG design in Europe. I've joined the company back in 2017, and at that time, the company was not even known in China at all, right? And to be able to be here 8 years and a half later, to talk about the company, to talk about the design in Europe is really makes me really proud in a very humble way, of course. But I've seen the company grow in such an amazing pace, and to be able to share our design story today, it's just truly amazing. This is the first thing. The second thing I would say is the connection with the art fair also is quite interesting. He Xiaopeng, our CEO and chairman, like to remind us almost on a weekly basis that in XPENG we have two hands. I mean, as far as I know, and on one hand we have art, and on the other we have technology, and with both we create beautiful smart cars. And so for us, the designer team, we are kind of like the artists of the company, and it's truly amazing to be able to talk and share about car design here with you guys today.
When you're talking about back in 2014 or something, you joined Xiaopeng. 17, sorry. Back in that time, China, as a car designer, China is not so attractive to the car designer, right? So what brought you to China? What brought you to us? What brought you to XPENG?
And I think it was a bold move, because at that time, nobody knew about the XPENG. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am a French designer, and I'm attracted since a very young age into creation. And I would have to confess today, I think it's the best place to confess this, that actually I wanted to become an artist. I always like painting and drawing and such. In some of the videos, probably you will see me attempting some artwork. But then life led me to become a car designer, which is amazing too. And I started my career in France, where I interned in Citroën, a French brand, and then I moved to Honda in Japan. And after what, I decided to move to China. And you're right, that, I mean, at the time, 2017, that was not the fanciest place to go for a car designer. But I was always attracted by creativity and not by the brand. And I could feel that in China, the car design industry was kind of like flourishing and going up, and new brands and new startups were kind of like starting to rise. And so I started to get interest in these companies, and I applied in a few companies and got a few interviews, and XPENG was the brand that kind of like inspired me the most, because they really wanted to create something new and leading in terms of not just the product, but mainly about design. That's what I was really attracted by. And so that's why I joined the company, and today I'm quite happy to have made this choice. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're talking about what attractive to you of XPENG is something very unique. So what is the recipe? What is the ingredients that make the XPENG design very unique in the market?
Well, again, talking about, XPENG's quote, like art and technology, we in design at least try to create something that would breathe these two notions, right? And so the whole target for us designers is to find the perfect balance between these two worlds, and how to translate these art and technology into forms, into shapes, right? And so in design, what we did is to translate art into emotional, and tech into rational. And so every car that we design, we try to always find the right, here is me, try to be an artist, like you say, and try to create the right balance between these two, like emotional and rational. And so we try to translate this into shapes. The body part would be what we, and what, yes, the emotional part with these beautiful, sensual, muscly kind of like shapes. And we would translate this rationality into overlay some sort of a very logical, almost geometrical graphics on top of it that will actually highlight the technology of the car, right? And so with this being very strong, I think XPENG has been recognized for its unique design and also its bold design. We always try to innovate, to be fresh, to be new. This is something that we always push in our design process.
When you're talking about this dual handshake, emotional and rational, it reminds me of in China, yin and yang.
Yeah.
So this is very traditional, typical contract we very familiar in China. So how you gonna like bring this design philosophy in the European market? Do we have something similar like yin and yang in China in European market?
Yeah. Well, before to talk about the European market, I think I'd like to talk about, usually designers, I think you probably heard it many times, like to quote Albert Einstein when he says something like, logic will bring you from A to B, and what was the logic will imagination will take you anywhere, right? And so, but this is misunderstood from the designers most of the time, because they tend to understand that only imagination can provide you with something. But in XPENG, we really think that both worlds are as important. And so if you just create by logic, then you will create something probably boring, right? And if you just care about your imagination, or you create something purely based off your feelings, then you will create something probably useless.
Yeah, you need to set some goals at the end. And I think actually it's something that it's quite related with the momentum that Chinese automakers they experience now. And I think it's because of the pace, the rhythm of not just the design centers, but also the whole technological industry there. Speed, it's unbelievable.
Incredible, yeah.
So I think this is also very rewarding for designers, because at the end what you want is that your schedules or your idea, you want to transform it into reality. And if this gap, we can reduce it a lot. So that's very rewarding. And I think our design VP, he introduced something that it's kind of unique, that is our full digital design process. I think probably the audience would like to know a little bit more about
the full digital process.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good point. I mean, probably most of you know like how fast the things go in China, and obviously the design industry is also following this pace. And so we've came up with this new kind of like super advanced full digital process. Like we call, right? And I have to also introduce our design VP.
Yeah.
So because he came up with this idea to keep up with the pace and without sacrificing the quality of our cars and our design ultimately. So we had the honor and the chance to have such a good designer. His name is Juanma Lopez, probably. I mean, if some of you heard about him, he's been designing cars in Ferrari, in Lamborghini, Audi, Genesis, many super cool brands, right? And I mean, he was designing for all these cars, and he had a chance also to join Chinese company like a few years ago, and then the COVID hit, and he had to go back to Europe and worked for a brand in Europe. But having worked in China, then coming back to Europe, the pace was too slow for him, and there was nothing that he could achieve at the pace of China, and so he had to come back to China, and he chose XPENG for that.
Yeah, he told me, look, I get bored, I'm used to another rhythm, and I need to come back to China to...
Absolutely. And I mean, to me, this is also one of the things that also attracted me to join China. This is coming back to your question, is that I've worked so many years in very nice companies. But by the time you sketch, the time you see your car that will be driven by people, it's usually like 5 to 8 years. And I actually designed a car in Honda, and I left Honda, joined XPENG, designed the P7. The P7 was actually coming out, and a year later, the car that I designed in Honda was coming out.
Wow.
So this is how fast things go in China. And so coming back to Juanma Lopez, our design vice president, coming to XPENG, he came with this new like full digital process where we actually use a lot of digital tools like 3D softwares, VR and AR and MR to be able to visualize the 3Ds that we are doing really, really fast. We also use AI tools. All these are really well balanced. Actually, Yusus also was, he joined the company like in 2020, right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, being a design project manager, you also could see the difference between the pace and the tools that we used back in 2020 and what we are using now. I mean, this is unbelievable how, maybe
amazing.
You can share what you think about the transformation, the transition that we had.
Because when people talk speed, quality, then when you have the speed, is it meaning the quality going to lower? No, because in XPENG we introduced the so-called full digital process and AI generated actually speed up the process, can minimize the timing, but meanwhile to guarantee the quality enable for the stakeholder to make a very good decision based on the visual impact of our new digital process introduced in the. So this is actually. You cannot imagine at the beginning when you join this company so fast during like 1-2 years, this kind of idea just blow your minds, and I'm literally one part of it. So this is amazing for me. It's experiencing.
And I think you underline like a hot topic that is AI, right? There's a lot of controversial about using AI or not. If this will affect the creative process. Machines will lead all this design process that were capitalized only by humans? I don't know. I mean, in my experience, I think it's a good way, a good technology to enhance all the creativity and all the expertise that we have as designers, and also to reduce the tempos and the timelines. But yeah, I don't know. I think what's your opinion on that, Rafik?
Yeah, AI is a very sensitive topic, especially in design. Also in art, I believe, this is the same thing. This is a new technology. I mean, people in the past also, even in art, we used to paint and using very natural medium, and then it goes to synthetic, and then using digital tools to help you support your creativity in art and so on. And in design, it's the same thing. And so what made me a designer is my love for drawing and for painting and all these analog tools, you know. And so up to these days, actually, I still sketch with markers, and I have always a sketchbook with them. But I like this very physical touch and physical connection with the creativity, right?
Well, and at the end, probably the first doodle or sketch is the most immediate thing, just to show an idea.
Yeah.
Right?
This being said, I mean, we cannot go against the progress, you know, against technology.
Definitely not.
And so, especially in XPENG, we are a tech company that actually provide transportation or mobility product for the people, right? And so we consider ourselves more like a tech company rather than just a car industry or a car company. And so it's in our DNA to be able to embrace the technology and to be able to use these tools like AI. And in my opinion, the challenge now is to be able to understand the AI tools for designers, for artists, to use it as a tool. Because before we were sketching, right? There was analog tools to be able to communicate your ideas to the design directors and to the CEO. And then Photoshop came. It was another tool that was also controversial, I would say. But then you were doing basically exactly the same thing, but digitally. And today is this digital tool that you use for sketching. Now we have a new tool that is AI. And that's a little bit more complex. The transition will be completely different. It's not you not use it like another way to sketch. You have to use it in another way to think, so that this tool can be an extension of your brain, an extension of your hand, to provide you with more ideas, right? And so how to keep the human side of the creativity using AI tool, I think, is the challenge. And this is what we are doing now in XPENG. We are creating our own AI platforms to be able to generate ideas, sketches. And I think that the key to succeed in the future of car design is to be able to control and master this new tool, which is AI. You know, and the first that will be able to do that will be the one that will be leading the design in car design industry, I believe.
You know, as one member from our design center, nowadays when I'm walking around the design center, no more sketches. It's this, you know.
That's not true. We still sketch.
No, I mean, this is, I think, it's the DNA as a designer, right? So, talking about all these amazing digital workflow, have you ever missed, I don't know, the smell of the marker or the sketching, this kind of feeling on the paper? This is gone.
Yeah, I mean, this is nostalgia, you know. I don't miss. I still sketch. You know, I always sketch, but I can afford that because now my job is to make decisions. You know, I'm not designing clearly, but I still use this tool, and I believe designers are still using it. It's just the period of time within the process that you use it is much shorter. It's just for you to quickly. But I believe that even this period in 5 years' time or 10 years' time will have to disappear. You know, the technology, the AI, we have to live with our time and the technology we need to use. And in the future, I believe that, you know, this is that by the time you take out your pen and sketch, actually the tools that you have digitally will be able to provide you much more ideas than that. And we just need to convert, I think, you know. It's like, you know, this is a bit traditionalistic kind of thinking, you know. At a time when people, you know, used to ride horse to go from one point to the other, they probably preferred to keep their horses and don't want to transition into the cars, right?
Yeah,
but the cars can. We don't see horses anymore, right? So the technology will take the power.
Big changes, they always create a little bit of hesitation in a way, but at the end, as a tech company, we cannot leave behind what
Absolutely
technology.
not.
And even I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the art history, I think many of the masters that we consider nowadays, they embrace technology. They try new materials, they try new techniques, they succeed, and we consider them like the big masters nowadays. So, and they manage to do that because they embrace the technology they had before. So I think, especially at XPENG, that we are a tech company, we should lead like this changing.
Like you guys mentioned, the future mobility is changing way too fast. So what is next? What kind of new frontier or new technology you are dreaming to design? What is the next?
Well, we are very lucky as designers to be part of the XPENG adventure, because we don't only get to design cars, but we also design flying cars and robots. And so to be able to touch completely different fields, when you design flying cars, then you have to deal with completely different constraints, the dead weight, the aerodynamics, and stuff like this that force designers to be able to find different ways of creativity, different ways to be unique, different ways to shape the object, and we design robot. I believe we have a robot in our booth.
Yes.
It's also a completely different way to think, and for designers, it's always a beautiful playground to be able to switch from one topic to a completely different topic, and that keeps us also super fresh and alert about what's going on. And I think that we have this chance in XPENG to be able to play with so many different topics. And you asking me, what's the next? I think we are talking about flying cars and robots. We are already like tackling things that are extremely advanced, and our first flying car production will be launched at the end of this year, mass production, which will be the first mass production flying car ever in the world.
Yeah, incredible.
So we are doing it. This is the next adventure.
And not just that, but I think what's coming next is also a big revolution. We are passing from ownership to experience in terms of mobility. So and this means, with autonomous driving, with the robot taxis. So everything is changing, and I think also it's a good opportunity for design centers like ours also to lead this change and to be a little bit more wild, because constraints are gonna change, and probably we're gonna have a little bit more freedom to experiment and to propose new things, new aesthetics, new ways to explore the future at the end.
So this AI tool are gonna benefit for both car design, any design, right? Robotic, flying cars.
Absolutely, we use AI in our design process in every aspect, the creativity, the strategy making, the tools that we use not only digital AI, but we also try to integrate physical AI in our process, trying to how to mill or model the cars physically in a much faster and efficient way, including creativity and the translation between what the designers have in their mind to the physical world, right? And so AI is basically, in our process today, is taking a huge place and a huge challenge, and we have targets every 6 months to be able to perform in a much higher way, And so this is really exciting, because AI is evolving so fast, and even myself, I have to confess that maybe just a few years ago I was not really keen on using AI technologies, because for design it was not there yet, and I thought that this will never happen, at least in my career. And today we are using AI, and we are actually coming up with like extremely high quality designs with our own generator in-house. This is just amazing. So this technology have proven me wrong as well. And you're talking about also the technology, the autonomous driving. Same. As a designer, when I joined the company at first, they would say, okay, we will have cars that will drive themselves. In 2017, I was like, yeah, well, sure. But no longer than last year, I drove the X9 that is actually just in front of the art fair, right? The MPV. And I was going with one time our design general manager, to lunch, and after lunch he said, okay, sit in the front and just ask the car to go back to the office. So I asked the car to go back to the office, and I had to do literally nothing until the car parked itself in front of the office. This is really, really impressive. And so technology is
like
growing exponentially.
The technology is amazing, is changing so fast. So fun, a very, very fun question. As a designer, are you afraid of in the future you're going to lose your job because of the AI?
This is a good question. It's a very good question.
Maybe everybody going to lose their job.
I think it's up to us at the end. Because, I always understood design as and especially at XPENG, as the bridge to connect technology with our users. I mean, we are people, we are human beings. So at the end, I think this human approach has to be always there. And actually, at least at this very moment, still, you as a human, you make the decision. AI can help you to have like many proposals in a very short time, but at the end you are the one who choose which one. So this maybe it might change, it might adapt a little bit more, and AI will get a little bit more protagonism on that. But still, at the end, we are building cars, and we are building cars for people. Even if they are with autonomous driving, we are gonna be sitting inside to commute. So at the end, we're gonna experience, and we need to create and design like the right environment, the right experience, the right shape. At the end, I like the sentence when we did the rehearsal this morning. At the end, we need also to make our streets much more beautiful with our designs. So I think it's a nice quote.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's the responsibility of a designer. And of artists too, actually. What we do is try to create objects that will be beautiful, that will improve our cityscapes, our landscapes. People will have to live with it. When you guys were coming today to the art fair, you probably saw a lot of cars driving around, right? And it's our responsibility as designers to make them look good, at least to the majority of the people, so that when you are commuting in a city, you don't feel depressed just looking at the car. You need to make the environment more beautiful. And this is our responsibility as designers, car designers, but architects or whatever. But coming back to the losing job topic, I think this technology has proven me so many times wrong. So I don't know if I can have a clear understanding of what will happen with this tool. One thing for sure is we need to be at the control of it. We need to control this tool to create object that will speak to people. That's one thing that we need to adapt, and we need to be very flexible because the technology is evolving very fast. And so the job of a designer today is more to be really humble with the technology, to access and to embrace it, to try new tools. Otherwise, because AI is artificial intelligence. So if you don't teach the intelligence how to behave, then one day maybe the intelligence will take control. But I believe that if we are aware and humble enough to always try to understand it and try to control it, then no risks for designers. I don't know how will it work in the future, but this is what we are doing now in our full digital process with our own AI generator. We control it, right? And we are able to get the result that we want. And we need to keep this work going to keep our jobs.
This is also coherent with the design philosophy. The second part, very important, is the emotional, right? Is the human touch, where is also essential for the XPENG design.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think also talking about this human touch, I mean, we are a global company, so there's different cultures where we want to sell cars and where we want to succeed, and where we need to adapt our designs and our to different markets. So that's also something where design has a lot to do and a lot to bring, just to make like this adaptation and to adapt everything to different markets. What's your approach on that? I mean, China is moving very fast, and Chinese consumers, they are very keen on technology, on comfort. Maybe here in Europe, they prefer more like this driving experience. Also in terms of colors, I think there's a...
Yeah, absolutely. Well, XPENG in general, our strategy is always to go step by step. We don't want to grow too fast, because we've seen like examples of companies that have tried this and failed. So our strategy in XPENG is to build a solid basis that will allow us to go to the next step. And so when you talk about European market, of course, it's something that we've started a few years ago already. And here in the UK, about a year ago, right? So obviously now more than ever, the design center has to integrate this duality or between different markets, between mainly Chinese market and European market. And so the first thing that we did obviously is to grow the team, and I believe that now we have like 19 or 20 different nationalities in the design centers. We have 2 different centers, one in Guangzhou, one in Shanghai. We hire different types of people, different profiles coming from different experiences. And so from the styling aspect, of course, our design team is able to understand and feel what the need of people in Europe or in China. Now, not only this, but also we have a deep connection with our product planning department that also have deep understanding of what the European market is about. And so we have teams also in Europe that are investigating, giving us some trend analysis, what people want in Europe. And so, like you said, when it comes to designing cars, we obviously are shaping the cars differently, but sometimes we have to, with the same platform, with the same car, be able to sell it in 2 different countries or 2 different continents. And so this is where CMF takes place and have a huge role to be able to understand what type of color or material are more going to be to sell in Europe or in China, stuff like this. Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe to end a little bit our conversation, I think maybe it's important, maybe here in the audience there's some people who wants to know a little bit more about how to become a car designer. And we talk about this AI, but I think there's a still future for new generations to become car designers and to...
Some piece of advice.
Yeah, so maybe...
To become a car designer, I think is designer in general. I think is the same thing, and then maybe we can dive into car design. But in my opinion, a designer needs to be first very humble and curious about life in general, and then what I say to the team also, whatever you do, you have to dream it first. You need to have some sort of a vision, some sort of a dream about what is it that you want to own or have. If you cannot dream yourself about it, then how can you expect any other people to dream about it, right? Because one of the challenges that we have also in XPENG is to create desire. Design is and art in general is about creating desires. When I was young, I remember that I was dreamed about these super sports cars, Ferraris or Lamborghinis or even BMWs, stuff like this. And our goal through design, and obviously through engineering and the package of the car is also doing a lot of that, but through design, I think, to create the desire. And so young designers, one advice is to first dream it and obviously love it, and then do it. This is what I said to the designers always in my team, is you have to dream it, you have to love it, and then you have to do it. This is the first advice. And obviously, as I said, embrace technology, don't stay too much, because especially now it's evolving so fast. You cannot just stick to one tool. So you need to use many different tools, digital tools, analog tools, to express yourself. Because at the end of the day, you need to, if the execution is probably the most important part of our job. If you have a really nice idea, you dream it, but you're not able to communicate it, then it's nothing. You have to execute the idea. This is the most important thing. And so execution comes through different tools, and the tools are evolving so fast. We were lucky enough to grow in a generation where you can master one tool and use this tool for 10, 15, 20 years. Now it's not the case anymore, and so you need to be very flexible with that,
Embrace.
Yeah, so that will be the skill for a designer in the future. I think it's to be extremely flexible with the tools, because this is what will make you strong as a designer.
Yeah, and when you talk about love, I think being passionate, it helps you also a lot to communicate and to the people can resonate, or you can express, and you can connect better with the audience in a way, because at the end, all designers, we all have ideas, and we have to convince other people. We need to convince engineers. We need to convince our directors to believe in ourselves and our ideas. Of course, it's like a teamwork. But if you are passionate and you are really able to engage, with them, I think it's also
exactly
key. Yeah.
Yeah. So
also
true.
to understand. Sorry, I got you.
Sorry, go ahead.
One thing that is very important also for a designer is to understand what you like and why you like it. Many times I ended up doing things and people were like, oh, how did you come up with this shape? How did you come up with this design? And I often understand that sometimes designers just do things by instinct. But I think a good designer or a good designer should be able to understand, what you like and why you like it, so that you can create much more things than what if you wait for just the spark of the day to have an idea, then this spark might not come, and then how to design, And so you have to create some sort of almost mathematical formula to be able to design things when it's needed, And to be able to do this, you need to understand what you like you like and why you like it. This is very, very important. Yeah.
As a very pure, rational girl here, I can already feel this passionate through this conversation. I don't know if our audience have, after we deliver all this passionate about the car design, is there anybody have any question about car designers? We have two brilliant minds here to answer any questions.
Or anything else, yes, please.
Hi, thanks for attending. I was fascinated by your talk. I'm looking at the new P7,
yes.
And for me personally, I come from an art background, it has echoes of Robert Opron's Citroen SM Maserati, which is probably, for me, one of the most beautiful cars ever made.
Wow.
A French designer. And so congratulations, it looks extraordinary.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say that.
That's a huge compliment.
Thank you very much.
You deserve a big props.
I want to bounce back on that quickly. You know, it's funny. I don't know if I have a picture of my office. The Citroën SM is my favorite car. You know, so this really. I don't know. Maybe I was led subconsciously to have some hint of it. I mean, you know, a design comes with, you know, personal touch. That's why I said that you, as a designer, you have the responsibility to think about what you're putting out there, right? And so it's a bit egoistic to be a designer, to be honest, because like now you said, like, oh, you see a little bit of Citroën SM. Yeah, this is what the car that I love. So maybe subconsciously I've put some of these things in it.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, so we need to to understand this and to it was not intentional at all, you know. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to thank you for the talk and for sponsoring it there, and it's very inspirational. You mentioned something about the tools, and I also come from art background. Would you be able to share with us which particular AI and VR tools you're using in the process? Or is that something confidential?
No. Well, the tool that we use is confidential, of course. We are building our own AI platform. We call it the full digital platform. So we have a full digital process that basically we try to squeeze in to squeeze the time as much as possible and to bring higher quality earlier into our process. So this is the full digital process. Now we have also created the full digital platform, and in this platform we have AI tools that are helping designers to come up with ideas, designs for the wheels, for the cars, for anything that you can actually think of. And also this AI tool is also helping us to visualize our ideas, you know, by renderings and animations, videos and stuff like this. And so this tool we are actually designing ourselves. So obviously it's not available because the technology of the AI is basically, it's taking a lot of ideas from everywhere, and we obviously want to keep our ideas confidential. And so we try to utilize, of course, the ideas out there, plus the designers, the XPENG designers' idea. And so we have these tools, the VR, we are using just basic VR headsets and softwares like Unreal or VRED, Autodesks. I don't want to do any advertisement. I don't know if we can do this here, but basically these are the tools that we are using on a daily basis here. Thank you.
Thank you, that was really interesting. I'm wondering how you guys are able to move a lot faster than American, European, and even Japanese rivals, because those guys obviously have a much deeper expertise in car making and a much longer history of it, right?
Yeah. Good question.
I mean, I think, you know, Europe, US, definitely they have much more heritage. But in terms of expertise, I mean, I joined the company in September, so I'm quite fresh in China. But one of the things that really impact me the most is that the local talent that is there. It's really unbelievable. There's a lot of good designers, good engineers. You know, I was really amazed. There's a lot of competent people. So I think there's huge talent in China, and they really need to feel really proud of themselves, not just in technology, but as a country. I remember the first time I was in Shanghai was like 20 years ago. This year that I came back, I mean, it was completely another city. So I think and also that they beat on something that is difficult to cope for European societies, is that the government has long-term plans, and this is a huge advantage. At least this is my personal opinion on that.
Yeah, I think the most important factor is the will of the industry in China. I feel like having worked in France and in Japan, we have a process that is, as you mentioned, about 100 years old, and it didn't really evolve. And so we have this kind of subconscious momentum that we want to keep for some reasons, right? But in China, there's no stupid questions. Oh, can we do this in 1 week? I was like, what? 1 week? We used to do it in 2 months. It's like, why it takes 2 months? Can we do it in 1 week? And okay, let's try to do it in 2 weeks. And challenging all the time like this for all the things. This is just one example. And so there is no boundary, and this is for the process, but also for design. You see designs in China that you would not even think of designing in Europe, and sometimes it's for the bad, and sometimes it's for the good. Sometimes you see things like, wow, it's it hurts your eyes. But sometimes you see things that are really, really avant-garde and leading. Today you have designs that are actually leading, design from China that are actually leading the Europeans and the Americans. Don't want to give precise examples, but designers know. Those who know. And so I think, to me, the most important thing is the will of the Chinese car industry to achieve things faster, to achieve things more efficiently. And people, of course, of these companies that are working super hard and willing to do the effort to achieve these targets. And so, to me, it's more about the mindset. There is no tradition. There is no traditional process in the car industry in China, and so they are just questioning. Okay, why not doing it just faster? Yeah, let's do it. And that goes for everything, which is good. Creatively speaking, is amazing.
Hi. My question is related to sustainability. So we're talking about designs and future and AI. I would like to know about tools, about these new cars. What tools you have and mechanisms to avoid to damage more the planet?
Right. This is a topic that is step by step coming into our process. To be fairly frank with you, sustainability in China is not like a trend, or as in Europe or Scandinavian countries, where, for instance, brands like Volvo or Polestar are actually basing their communication on that. In China, the consciousness about this sustainability is not as important as in Europe. However, the trend is coming, and the new generation are also asking these questions. And so in our process, we're also starting, and being an EV car company is already one step into, trying to create products that are, friendlier for the planet. Now, what we are implementing in our process in XPENG is about recycling materials, how to consume the energy in a much more efficient way, to be able to have a better battery system and stuff like this. Recycling the battery, this is a huge issue for the planet, as you may know. And so we are asking ourselves these questions, and obviously we'll come up. I'm truly confident that we'll come up with a solution very, very fast, as our process is always super fast. But it's something that we just are thinking now and implementing in our process.
Do you have a particular main feeling in mind when you talked about your branding? I mean, when you state the emotional side of it, it's 50% emotional, 50% rational, as I saw from the ads over there as well. Do you have like a main feeling behind it when you say emotional, or just a free range of emotions? Like,
yeah.
For example, when I think about Porsche, for example, it's about loyalty. And when I think about Lambo, it's about status, I guess. Do you have something like that in mind, or something else?
That's a very good question. Yeah, that's a very, very nice question. So, we are actually building our design philosophy. We call it the 2.0. So we came up with this duality between emotional and rational, and how to create products that will display this duality, right? And so today, the way we are giving a specific temperature or taste to what kind of emotional, what kind of rational, is depending on the product and depending on the target user, right? And so we don't have, but this doesn't mean that we will not have specific, like you said, maybe Porsche has a very unique understanding of what type of emotion they want to spread throughout the lineup. For us in XPENG, we want to, we are a young brand and we are still trying to understand what type of user is going to be attracted to our brand, and so for that, each product is specifically targeting a specific group, and for this group, we define what type of emotion we want to relate to and what type of rational feeling we want to relate. And so each product is kind of different. But the duality, this is for today, this is what we are applying. The duality should be present in every single product. Now we are starting in 2026 our design philosophy 3.0, and we'll try to get the data from of course, the product planning team that will give us more data about who our customers are and try to find a more precise answer, maybe for a bigger range of vehicle. And then step by step, I believe within 5 years, we will need to build this kind of like DNA where people will recognize us as a brand through just one glance, But today we are just basic.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
product after product.
Exactly, and we have like 3 car families. Like we have Mona, we have XP,
the D platform,
and XPG. And at the end one, it's more decline, or it's moving more towards emotional. The middle one, the XPF, it's probably the more balanced one. And XPG is, in terms of design, is language.
Rational.
It's more rational. You can see even you can see the MPV outside. That it's the design is slightly a little bit more square, and we call it like geometrical poetry, right? So yeah, we are working on these 3 platforms that we have, but at the end on our 3.0.
So just to jump on this car, for instance, the P7, that looked like a SM Citroën S. Actually, this is the perfect balance between emotional and rational, and here we called it the digital sensuality. And so we wanted to have the emotion will be sensual, and the rational will be digital. So each product had its own kind of like description, I would say. So this one, for instance, the P7 was digital sensuality, and that's what drove the designers to come up with these shapes.
So yeah, at the end we are declining a little bit this emotional rational between these 3 families.
Thank you. Good question.
Any more questions? Anything, even related to personal, it's okay, huh?
Yeah, I can throw out my Instagram and.
Okay, we still have some.
Good.
Sorry to pick on you, Rafik.
They're good.
The other thing was
I
noticed that you're stylistically, when you were painting through the glass, is very much like a street urban tag in terms of, the text that you do for the P7.
Yes.
And I was struck that, there was a question about, how does China respond against America and all these other European manufacturers who've suddenly been in the game much longer. And the thing is, all the innovation, I think, in American cars and European cars really came from 2 places. One was, yes, racing, but the other was custom builds. Kids from the street who would take a car and do what they love and what they wanted from it. And most of the really progressive innovations came from people on the street, you know, customizing and tailoring, and then the big manufacturers would pick up on it. And I think because you've almost got a beautiful, fresh canvas, you know, this gives you an extraordinary advantage. And I love this idea that you think, well, you know, why do this in a month? Why can't we do it in a week?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is progressive and innovative thinking.
Yeah,
and I think it's reflected in the design of the P7. And so, anyway, I just want to say that. Because I was looking at what you were doing, the tag stuff, and I thought, this is really fascinating.
I'm an artist wannabe.
Yeah, exactly.
One day maybe
exactly. So, but you know, that's the whole point. I mean, the most beautiful cars are really made by artists.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Yeah.
you know, if you think about it, if you really look at it, because it's the attention to detail.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'll jump on that quickly also because this is actually a very good description of why, you know, we are able to create some really fresh design. It's because we are not constrained by the history of the brand. So like you said, you described it very well. Yeah. We are starting with a blank canvas. And so we feel more like kids, you know, playing, and we do what we want to do, you know, with the brand, basically, as designers. Obviously, we are led by a very strong strategy and where we want to go. But for the design, this is that's what I said at the beginning. You know, China was not a fancy. Now it's starting to be really fancy for international talented designers. Now they start to come to China. But at the time when I joined, it was not fancy at all. But I could sense that this is the only place where, if you really care about design or creativity in car design, that was the only place to be, in my opinion. Because other brands, they're doing great cars, but as a designer, you will never be able to express yourself fully, you know. But like you said, in XPENG, we have a blank canvas, and I could come and sketch the cars that I really wanted, and then just a year and a half, 2 years later, you see people driving them, you know.
Yeah.
It's, for a designer, it's just fantastic. You know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. This is just truly amazing.
When our European co-workers come to China, when they see this P7 running on the street, it was like, what? This is a mass production. It looks like concept car. It's exactly like you can design whatever you want, literally. So this is an amazing part of China XPENG design. Thank you so much. Wow, we really appreciate the 1 whole hour you guys spending here with us, and hope you guys have the lovely day. Enjoy the rest of the art fair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.